It has not been more than a few years since people believed that the sound barrier was real as a physical barrier. Although this barrier is real, it is invisible. Before 1947, it was believed that if a plane moves faster than the speed of sound, or breaks the sound barrier, it will disintegrate. Finally, on October 14, 1947, equivalent to October 21, 1326, a pilot named Chuck Yeager broke the sound barrier in an exceptional flight and landed safely. What is a sound wall? When an object's speed approaches the speed of sound, aerodynamic drag suddenly increases. This increase is called the acoustic wall. It is important to note that a sound wall is not a real or solid wall. Choosing this name is only because of having a better understanding of it. How is the sound wall created? Consider an airplane traveling at less than the speed of sound. Air exists as a non-turbulent fluid around an aircraft. In other words, the airflow around the wing of the aircraft moves without turbulence or with minimal turbulence. Note that no body can be accelerated suddenly and without introduction. The greater the physical acceleration, the greater the force creating that acceleration. Therefore, for an object to accelerate instantaneously, the force acting on it must be infinite. When the plane moves, a force called drag force is applied against the direction of the plane and by the air molecules. Therefore, in order for the amount of drag on the wings of the airplane to be small, the air molecules must move slowly away from its path. The question that may be raised is how the air molecules move away from the path of the wings. These molecules start moving before reaching the wings of the plane. Note that the layers of air separate from each other before reaching the wings. This mode is the same as slow acceleration over time. After hitting the airplane wing, the air atoms begin to vibrate in different directions and hit the nearby atoms and cause them to oscillate or vibrate in different directions. In the same way, the vibrational movement of the atoms reaches the neighboring atoms and finally reaches the point A. Hence, it appears that the air atoms at point A know that they must move away from the path of the plane's wing. In other words, when the plane moves, a pressure wave moves forward from its wings. The speed of this pressure is equal to the speed of sound. As the speed of the aircraft approaches the speed of sound, less air is removed from the wing's path. Because the wave pressure created by the plane's wing reaches the atoms ahead at a lower speed than the plane's speed, we said that wave pressure is transmitted at the speed of sound. When an airplane travels at or above the speed of sound, the air cannot move out of the way of the airplane. Because wave pressure cannot be transmitted faster than the speed of sound. In other words, before the wave pressure reaches the air atoms, the airplane wing has reached them. In this case, a sound wall is created. A question that may arise is what happens at speeds equal to or greater than the speed of sound. A shock wave is created if the plane travels at a speed close to or faster than the speed of sound. In other words, if the speed of the plane is higher than the speed of sound, the pressure wave does not have enough time to reach the air particles. Therefore, before the air particles notice the arrival of the aircraft, they will hit the wing of the aircraft. It is important to note that a number of atoms are piled up near the wing. After a certain period of time, the amount of atoms accumulated on the wing increases so much that a shock wave is formed and the pressure value near the wing increases sharply. A shock wave is a point where many atoms suddenly pile on top of each other. The speed behind the shock wave is lower than the speed of sound. If the plane is traveling at Mach 1, the speed of sound, all the atoms change speed from Mach 1 in front of the shock wave to less than Mach 1 behind it. The shock wave changes the speed of the atoms and brings it closer to the speed of the plane. What is it like to break the sound barrier? Speed has always been a fascinating topic for humans, and they have always tried different ways to increase the speed of different vehicles, such as cars and airplanes. Breaking the sound barrier in 1947 was one of the greatest human achievements. After the first plane flew in the sky, the pilots were trying to increase the speed of the planes as much as possible. But the higher the speed of the plane, the more irregular the movement of the plane and the greater the force exerted on it. Therefore, increasing the speed of the plane beyond a certain speed was very dangerous and involved a lot of risk. How was this problem solved? Pilots tried to overcome the problem by performing dangerous dives at very high speeds. But the results were very unfortunate. Finally, in 1947, the aircraft designers added a part called the movable horizontal stabilizer to the plane and brought the dream of increasing the speed of the plane to a speed equal to the speed of sound closer to reality. On October 17 of the same year, Chuck Yeager, the pilot of the U.S. Air Force, broke the sound barrier for the first time with the X-1 plane. After that, and with more advanced designs, the speed of supersonic aircraft even reached more than 3 times the speed of sound. The speed at which the sound barrier breaks depends on many factors, such as weather and altitude. In general, this speed is about 1,239 km per hour. When an aircraft travels at a speed exceeding the speed of sound, it creates a shock wave with a very loud sound, which is called sonic boom or sonic explosion. Aerial shrapnel can have a negative effect on humans and animals. Also, it may damage nearby buildings. Many scientists around the world study the sonic boom and try to predict its path through the atmosphere.